Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to KBN Live. Happy Monday to you, whether you're watching from Facebook, YouTube, or anywhere else you might have snuck in and found this. I think that's maybe the only two places you can get it. I don't know. What's going on, Ryan? How you doing tonight, man?
Oh, I'm good. Had to make a quick run up to Nashville, do a little bit of work, get back on the horse.
Back on the horse. Back to working. Long weekend is over for you already. No
yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get going, we always want to thank our sponsors, Dugout Bait and Tackle. Thankful to have them on board this year. Go to dugoutfishing.com. We saw somebody complaining on the page earlier about some Academy Sports order or something. Why would you go to Academy Sports?
Yep.
Go to dugoutfishing.com and get your stuff.
Because Jacob Wheeler said so.
Yeah. He cuts off kayak anglers. Go to Dugout where they support kayak anglers and buy all your stuff.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. And, of course, Revo sunglasses. They say best lenses on Earth, and I saw an ad earlier from them said made in a NASA laboratory. So maybe you can see all the way to outer space.
You can Google that up.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw some smallmouth cruising some bluff walls with them this weekend.
Yeah, there you go. And Western Sun Vodka, of course. I know a lot of us got to work tomorrow. Don't want to indulge too much, but hit up that Western Sun. And I saw they came out with some new craft cocktail-looking stuff this week on their social media, so go check that out when you get the chance. But, yeah, let us know where you're watching from in the comments. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, we appreciate y'all. We got some things to cover before we get our guests in here. We got two guests tonight. Russell Johnson, Pennsylvania State Champ, or Pennsylvania Bass Nation
Bass
State
Nation,
Champ.
yeah.
So he's qualified for their Classic or Classic Championship, whatever you want to call it, down in South Carolina. And then we got Dwayne Taff, former Natty Champ, coming in here to preview Shreveport.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, I know Ryan and I don't participate necessarily in KBF, but we don't pick and choose what events are on the docket, and that's the biggest spectacle in town every year. So we're going to talk about it, and Dwayne's going to give us some good info about what's going on down there. So
they've been catching some monsters pre-fishing, giants getting put up.
Yeah, man.
I think it was it Robert Brown? He caught like an 11 plus. I think I saw a freaking tank.
Yeah, giant. Everybody's catching them. I mean, I've seen anybody holding up biggins down there. So
that's Caddo, though. I mean, like Caddo is just, it's a donkey show.
Yeah, all the time. But I bet you somebody that hasn't posted a pick all week will end up winning. Maybe somebody we don't even know. It's usually how it goes. That's where somebody makes their name there at the Natty every year. So that'll be fun to talk to Dwayne about and see what he's been up to. But before we do that, we always talk about the week that was. Leading up to this, or the weekend that was, we had state championships going on. You cashed your little check at Tennessee State Championship.
Man, I got up to third. I worked my way up. We do like a day and a half kind of fishing. Like we'll fish the afternoon of one day and then the morning of the next day, and it's your 5 best fish total. So there's a little different strategy approach to it. Like for me, if I can get like 2 good keepers on day 1 and then just really target 3 big bites on day 2. That's how I like to go at it, and that's exactly what I did. I mean, I did that game plan, but man, Paris, this dude from Nashville, he got on some smallies up in a creek and I think he had like 88.5 inches day one. And I think he did cull up like another inch, but that was pretty much over with from that point on. Eric Thomason gave him a good run. He also put up, I think it was around 85 inches or so, and then upgraded. I think he finished like 87 or something, but he got in there close. I mean, we kept it pretty tight. Watts Bar, it's in a real kind of fall funk. You know, it's a lot of little bitty bait fish. They're chasing schools around. It was hard to get on a solid pattern. So I think it went well. And obviously, you know, Paris kind of put on a show. And congrats to the Nashville guys. We have 11 clubs, and the top finishing club takes the paddle, and they beat us by like 6.25 inches. Like, I mean, just enough to stab you in the heart.
Man. And then down in Alabama, there was a state championship too. I saw our housemate from Pickwick, Jesse Halverson, was posting up about that. He was in the running for a while. He ended up finishing 6th. Lance Coley won that. Lance has kind of become a familiar name in the Southeast, doing some things down there. So
Sean Holyfield, it's KBN 25 is the Revo discount code. Try them out. If you don't like them, throw them at me.
Yeah, there you go. Then what else was there? Oh, the Lone Star Throwdown. How do we not talk about the Lone Star Throwdown? I don't want to mispronounce his name. Maccabi took the win down there. That looked like a hell of a good time. I've always wanted to make it. Didn't get to make it again this year. Maybe next year. I see some Texas folks in the chat. Let us know how that went, but it looked like a great time.
I see a bunch of regional championship trophy, like region champion or whatever. Somebody tell us how that works. I keep seeing these things, and there's obviously 4 or 5 dudes posting them up. I'm confused on what's happening there.
I think they give like basically, you know, at that tournament, it's Northeast Texas, East Texas, Southeast, West, Northeast Texas, whatever the alphabet club is down there. They have a bunch of different regions come represent, and then the winner of each of those also gets, you know, the top finisher from each of those.
I got you.
Brings home an award. Pretty awesome stuff. They always put on a great show, and looks like they got some good sponsor support in spite of what's going on down there, and still did put on a great show down there. So,
and I see
cool.
Patrick Malone in the comments. Patrick got off his butt and went fishing. Good job, Patrick.
Yeah.
We miss you, buddy. I'm glad you got out and got to enjoy some time with your friends on the water, man. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. And then there's more state championships coming up. Arkansas is this week, so we'll see how that goes down on the Arkansas River. And I'm sure there's more around the country, so let us know where your championship is happening, or if it's already happened. Let us know who won in the comments. We'll throw it up on the screen.
So the winning region picks the next year's lake. That makes sense now. I get it. That's a good way to do that, actually. I like that.
Which region won? Do we know? Which region won? I know who won, but I don't know what region won. Somebody put that in the comments, and if you picked the lake already, I'd like to know that. Hopefully it's in Northeast Texas where I can get to it easier.
We're learning.
Cool.
We're learning as we go, Jeff.
Central. All right, that's good. That ought to be good. Will Toledo Bend count as an event in Texas? It splits, right? Louisiana, Texas?
I would think so.
I know that's the rule for them. If you fish an event in Texas, you can come to the throwdown. So somebody let me know. Will that event count? That first Toledo Bend. I'm sure there'll be other big trails have events down there too, so we'll be able to slide through. We'll see.
I got you.
What else we got, man? We got you were made internet famous this week, or maybe
Infamous?
2 weeks ago. Just infamous, yeah.
Infamous, yeah. No, I got sent that. I sent this blog post while I was out in Idaho on my elk hunt, and it was shocking, laughable. I don't really know how to describe my initial emotion. I was laughing when I read the thing, and I'm like, this. I mean, I thought almost, it was a joke, like it's like satire. Like, there's no way this shit's real. And I talked to one of my buddies that lives near this anonymous blogger. And I tell him about it, and he's like, "Oh shit, I know who that is," and went and gave him some feedback on his blog post. And then the dude went back and put a different dude's name on it, like an alias, on the blog post. Changed the Bassmaster. He had the Bassmaster logo at first. I was like, he's gonna get his ass sued off. Like, you can't be using the Bassmaster logo on some stuff like that. So he took down the Bassmaster logo, put up our logo, which, I mean, we can do whatever you want to, Jeff, but put up our logo and put KBN not approved or so. I don't know, man. I just let it go. I wasn't gonna, I wasn't really gonna shed any light on it. But good old Brad Case shared it while we were at our state championship meetup, and of course everybody's got their phones out and they're like looking over at me. I was like, what's going on? And people are coming at, telling me about what it said. I'm like, guys, I mean, y'all know me for a minute. I don't really care what anybody's thoughts are, and that's part of being, I guess being in the public eye and taking heat from all sides. I express my opinions, and I hope that I always do. I try to give pretty honest and open feedback as far as what these trails can improve on, and where I think things are going in the sport overall. If you don't like it, that's okay. That's fine. I'm going to keep doing what I do. So thank you. Thank you for that, good sir. I posted a picture earlier. If you want to use it in your next blog post, you're welcome.
Yeah, you can maybe hit that edit button again. And I'd like to say to anybody that may be new to these parts, if you think that you're down rubbing elbows with important people or whatever and they're speaking poorly of the opinions that Ryan and I may put out here on the podcast or on the page in general, there's something that you probably should know. And I don't want to speak for Ryan, but if people don't like the things we say or the opinions we put out, I don't think we don't care. So that's kind of the brand. That's the brand we've built here. We don't care. So we love to express our opinion. So you can save your criticism on our opinions for another time, because we really don't care. So we'll keep on.
And I will promise you, after reading that novel, it has absolutely changed nothing in my life.
No.
So
no.
Continue on, friends.
I think we have a good time sharing our opinions. The people in our group do the same. And if somebody has a weird opinion like that blogger, then he's free to share his too.
Love it.
And there we go. Yeah. America for now. No social media censorship right now, unless you talk about one of, I think, about three things. Then you're out of here. Feet, COVID, and politics. You're out of here.
Don't say feet. Don't even do that.
Sorry. Yeah, they probably have a voice bot watching us close. But anyway, that was a good time. Funny talking about that in some private chats and just on the page in general.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't be the last dissenter of KBN. But, hey, you're welcome to rejoin for a fifth or sixth time under your other 4 burner accounts, whatever you want to try to do. We'll have a good time with that, too. So.
Oh, man. All right,
anything
moving
else?
on. No, I want to hear from the smalley smashing man from Pennsylvania, Russ Johnson.
Russ Johnson. All right, hang on just a second. Let me see if I can get this thing reorganized, Ryan, and we'll bring in Russ.
All right,
boom.
No, I
there
want
he
to hear
is.
from the smalley.
Oh, wait a minute, Russ, you got your sound turned up. We got an echo going.
Oh yeah,
Russ Johnson.
What's going on, guys?
All right, hang on just
Not
a
much,
second.
man. We got a pretty good echo going on somebody's deal. I think it's yours.
Ryan. We'll bring in Russ.
I can hear myself. It's amazing. I sound pretty good.
I don't know. It's sounding horrible.
Russ, you got your sound turned up. We got an echo going.
Hold on.
Russ
We're
Johnson.
gonna
Hello?
give it. Yeah, that's better, I think.
Oh, man, I can barely hear these things.
All right, that's better. That's better now. No echo. So,
Yeah, but I can't hear you guys.
Oh no. Well, my man can smash smallies, but we got audio problems. We'll get this fixed up here in just a minute.
You got audio?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
I can barely hear you. Let me try to grab some more headphones.
All right, I'm gonna move you back out and then come back in.
Blue and purple headphones from my daughter ain't working well. Give me 1 second, guys.
All right, I'm gonna pull you out. All right. So, like I said, we're gonna bring Russ back here in just a minute.
Listen, nobody said he's a podcast expert, all right, but he can catch some smallmouth. That's a fact.
Yeah, my man was on them for sure. And up there, the Susquehanna's. What do you say? Take those
He
headphones
said,
off.
take those headphones off.
Hey, Bob Baylor had a question for you, Ryan.
I answered. Yeah, I shot a
Yeah.
gas up, Bob. It was.
Oh, yeah, you put it in
was
the
a good
comments
one.
there.
Yeah. It was about a 350-ish. We'll see what the score is when it dries. We took it straight to the taxidermy, but it was the biggest bull in the herd. Got out there and got on it pretty quick on the first morning. So finished that up and chased some goats and some bears after that and got on back to Tennessee. Jesse Halverson is correct. Catching smallmouth is all you need to know in life.
Here we go. For you, Bob. This is for you. There it is. The biggin, the giant.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah. All right. I think Russ is ready.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
There he is. You hear us,
All
buddy?
right, I can hear you now.
All right.
There we go.
We're cooking with gas.
We're good.
Cooking with gas. My daughter's headphones weren't working. So
That's
I
all
had to
right.
go get some real headphones.
We're good. All right. So Pennsylvania Bass Nation State Champ.
Yeah. It's kind of fun because I only fished a couple events this year. My plate's been full with the restaurant, but I was able to win a bass event up here on a reservoir lake, and then it qualified me to go to the state championship, and it happened to be on a Susquehanna, so I wasn't missing that one.
Smart man.
It's an easy decision.
It'd be like fishing the upper Chesapeake and just dominating that, you know?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that though. I can't do it.
Never mind.
Me and Tidal Water don't.
That's somebody else. That's a different pro.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a different pro for sure.
So
Josh Evans says you're his hero.
Nah, he's my hero. Tight lines, brother.
Oh.
Shout out. I love Josh, man.
That's my brother from another mother right there.
Jordan Welliver says it felt good to be in the same picture as you.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't
shark.
the only one that jacked him up. I mean, we were seeing updates on the KBN page all day long of just monster smallmouth getting put up. Y'all really showed out up there.
Yeah. So this is when you look at it, me and the guy in second, Josh Sims, we went back and forth across the leaderboard 3 or 4 times. I had 91 inches by 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then it was just a grind for big fish. I probably put back 40 fish, 17 inches or better that did not call anything.
It's crazy. What was your final call fish? Do you remember which one gave you that half inch to take it?
That 19.75.
Ooh, the biggest.
Damn.
Yep.
Way to close that one out.
She was big and mean, and I found her shallow. And it's a spinnerbait bite. They were just chewing the spinnerbait. Unbelievable spinnerbait bite. In typical Susky fashion, half of the river was muddy, the other half was clear, and they had a good mud line right down the middle. Most of the guys were sticking to the clear side of the river, and then the other guys were, bouncing on that mud line. I chose to go find clear water coming in, and you can see in that picture just in the top corner how clear the water is that I found, but I found it on the muddy side of the river. I found some influent, water coming in that just happened to be clear. There's another clear water fish right there.
Just going through them all for you.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Susquehanna has been kind of legendary for a while on everybody's bucket list, and now that it's got some major tournaments coming to it every year, people are really fighting to keep it on somebody's schedule, if not multiple schedules, no matter what. And right here, this tournament shows why. I
mean, if you just even go down to the 10th, 10 guys, there's 24 anglers, 200 fish caught. But if you go down to 10th place, that's 86 and a quarter inches. That's winning a lot of tournaments in a lot of places. And that doesn't put you in the top 10 here. We probably about 6 or 7 years ago, we used to have tournaments on the lake or on the river where your top 3 fish, if you didn't have 58 inches or better, you weren't even thinking about cashing a paycheck. You had to have, well over a 19-inch average.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go through the tournament itself, man.
What is it that makes you, why do you think the Susky is such a hammer factor year after year? Like, what is it that just keeps putting out these world-class smallmouth?
It's the fact that if you pay attention to Jeff Little, and I'll bring Jeff into this because he's one of the best guys for it. if you look at what's in that river and not your target, like the food that they have in that river is absolutely ridiculous. The guys that came up for the Hobie event, they'll be like, these fish stink. They stink because they're eating crayfish. I mean, by the droves. If you were to, take a seining net and go seine for crayfish, you can catch 100 of them with any given point. The other thing that makes this river fantastic for our style of fishing is you need a jet boat to run it. So the guy that has the $80,000 Ranger, he's only taking guide trips on the Susquehanna. He's not beating it up every day. And even with the jet boat, 80% of the water I fished on Saturday, you can't get a jet boat to. It's just impossible. So we're able to use what the kayak is made for to go places you can't get in a boat. You just can't get there. But when you go into those places that may be knee deep for a half a mile, that's where all those crayfish are. That's where the stone cats, the helgrammites, everything that these fish are targeting for food is. And the river's so big, there's so much food. They're the apex predator, and they're outside of the catfish. They eat what they want.
They seem to eat chatterbaits a lot, from what I recall. That seems to be one of their favorite forage items. Jackhammers, specifically.
Jackhammers get smoked.
They seem to like those.
But my thought on that is the jackhammer has that vibration. If you ever listen to underwater footage of a crawfish fleeing and the clacking of their tail trying to get away, it's going to be really close to that same pulse. And you'll find a lot of times on the Susquehanna, a cadence. Everybody knows a spinnerbait. You can change your cadence with a spinnerbait. You can change your cadence with that chatterbait. A lot of guys, they'll cast it out, let it sit on the bottom, and just pull it up, give it a vibrate, let it sit back down. Pull it up, give it a vibrate, almost like yo-yoing it in 2 foot of water, but it's able for that smallmouth to key in on that thing. And as soon as it moves, they have all fight, no give.
Amen to that.
Everybody saw Ryan's video snippet from when he was up there. The big and he got all fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time, old sweetheart. Yeah, we had a good time with that.
Trying to keep up with these comments here. For the tournament itself, Russell, did you go back to stuff that you already knew, or did you pre-fish a little bit and kind of have something figured out before the tournament?
So me and my friend Billy DeBurrow, we fished on Friday, and we fished one of our history places. We knew what the water level was. It was clearing up, and we went and both put up 90 inches. And that was early on Friday. Midday, we decided to go look at some other stuff. And I just noticed where everybody's cars were and knew the areas they would be fishing. So I wanted to get above them or be below them. So I chose to go way above, give Billy his spot that we found in pre-fishing. And I fished new water, and I came across just good fish. It was just knowing what they were on 30 miles down south, and then, keying into that where I fished at, which was out of the Iowa Q and then into the Manitango area.
Josh Evans just said the most underrated angler on the Susky right there. How can that be true? Because every time I hear about the Susky, I hear your name. How can you be the most underrated?
I don't think he was talking about Russell though.
Oh, is he talking about somebody up in the comments maybe?
No, you talked about your buddy you were pre-fishing with. I think that's who he was referring to. There ain't no damn way he's talking about Russell.
I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
There's a few people that you look for on the Susky leaderboard. Russell, Jedediah, Sisto, and you look for Jake Harshman in the comments, but not on the leaderboard.
In the pre-fishing.
Yeah.
Jake is the North's Dylan Lowry. Is that how that is? Right?
Oh, damn.
Yikes. Sorry, that's a burn.
That's Steve. That's Trailer Park Tammy right there.
They're referring. I think he's referring to Billy DeBurrow.
Yeah, that's what he said in the comments. I messed up. My bad. It didn't make any sense, and I know Josh is smarter than that. So.
Billy's calling you out for saying his last name wrong. Still.
Yeah, probably. I still get his name wrong. It's Billy D kayak fishing in my phone.
I got you.
Durborough. I'll never get it right. However you say it. That's my main man right there.
Billy
Yeah,
D.
stick with Billy.
Billy
Stick with
D. And congratulations to him on his wedding.
Oh,
So.
okay.
Oh, good job, Billy. Good catch.
Now his wife has to put up with not knowing how to pronounce her last name. So congrats to her.
right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mess her name up too.
They get free meals at the restaurant though.
Absolutely, man. That's he can come up here and eat anytime. In fact, I just about 3 weeks ago, and this is the kind of guy he is. I called him. He saw what was going on Facebook, and he lives about 2.5 hours away from me. He was ready to load his truck up and come up and help me move everything out of one restaurant into another restaurant. That dude's solid.
Awesome.
So
Unbelievable.
That is
Somebody
awesome.
mentioned that earlier, man. You wanna say a little something about your restaurant?
yeah, so me and the wife and the kids, we're packing out of a small 24-seat restaurant. We're changing the name because what I was doing was managing a family restaurant for 20-some years, and I managed it the last 2 years. We've outgrown what we have, and we purchased our own. So I have a new restaurant coming. The name of it's going to be the Steel Plate. I'm in a steel mill. Yep, that's it right there. If you guys go and smash the like button on there, you can see some things coming.
Boom.
I like it. But we have we'll be doing barbecue, homemade pastas, a lot of seafood dishes. You can see some stuff there. We do a crazy brunch that's barbecue enthused. That's the brisket macaroni and cheese quesadilla. That's the homemade fettuccine Alfredo, grilled chicken. That is the smokestack. That's a rack of ribs, 1 pound of tater tots, a half a pound of macaroni and cheese topped with brisket burn ends.
Bring that to me. Oh my gosh.
My Lord. Okay,
And,
yeah.
and if you think he's just about pictures, he can actually cook. He cooked for us at the Hobie year before last. And what was that? Was it a barbecue Reuben? Is that what you made?
Yeah, we did a pulled pork Reuben. So I did pulled pork, creamy coleslaw.
I thought this is crazy. There ain't no way I'm eating this. And I took one bite of it and I was like, all right, you got me. You got me on that one.
It's one of those things that you don't think is going to go together, and it worked out pretty well. And then we had the cookie. Did I do the cheesecake cookies for dessert up there? Yep.
Sure did. That was a good time. That was during COVID too. I mean, we were all on lockdown out there, throwing cornhole, eating dinner under the pavilion like nothing could touch us.
Nothing can touch us. Good times. That's what this community is about, man.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I think we may change over to a
Amen.
food
We got
podcast.
some good folks in it.
Yeah,
Got some
folks are
good
fired
folks
up.
in it.
Van Tyne put the link to the Facebook page in the comments. So even if you don't live there, go like that page because the more likes it gets, it puts it into the Facebook ether algorithm, and it'll send people his way. So go like that page and help them out.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, people from Texas are asking if you can ship.
I can ship, but we can also. What were we talking about earlier? That Texas throwdown.
Yeah,
Lone Star throwdown. You need to go look at that.
What we can do something. I think Katie, she's always commenting on that. I'll put my hand in the pot on that one.
Whoa, Deuce, are you watching? We need to get you with Deuce. We'll link up for that. That'd be amazing.
I'm for
that. Would be amazing. Cliff's asking if you mess with Mediterranean food. We've kind of gone off the rails on the fishing part. We're into the food now.
Yeah, so we do gyros up here, but I roast whole lambs instead of doing like off the cone. So we'll roast whole lambs to do gyros. And then we make our own grape leaves and hummus and stuff along that lines. We don't do it all the time, just for specials.
Okay. All right. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, we got into fishing, big smallmouth, and tremendous looking food. What a night. I know back last year when we had you on, Russell, that was one of our favorite interviews then. And it's a great one again tonight. So we're so glad you took the time to join us here. We're also, we're going to do a Natty Championship preview too with Dwayne as soon as he comes in, and you're welcome to stick around and be part of that too. I hope you will.
Absolutely. Another JK brother.
There you go. And I've got somebody in the waiting room with no camera on. So as soon as I see them pop their camera on, we'll bring them in and start talking to them.
Some mystery guest out there with no camera.
Hey, why do I have Nicole Johnson in this room? Is that you, Russell, trying to get in again?
No, maybe she did. She clicked the wrong link. I don't know.
Okay.
She's sitting in the bedroom watching.
Yeah.
And then
So
I got my little one here, being Shatso Bob. You can tell everybody
All
how.
right. Hey, you're famous. You're kayak famous now, little lady.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's 56 guys watching that over there.
Yeah. Dwayne's ready. He's in there. We're gonna bring Dwayne in now. Hang on just a second, y'all. Heyo. Hey, what is up, Mr. Taff? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, pretty good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little choppy, but it's fine. Thanks for sliding in here with us, man. I know you're down in that part of the country. Are you down there pre-fishing yet in Shreveport?
Yeah, I've been here 4 days, something like that.
Okay, so you're in the thick of it. So, as everybody knows, Dwayne is former. Do you call him former national champs, or you just say national champ?
No, I mean he's still a national. He's a national champ of that year forever. Yeah.
It's kind of like president. You always call him president after their president.
I mean, classic champ. Like you don't stop referring to a classic champ as classic champ at any point in their life.
So my apologies. We'll say
it's still
champ.
old news.
Welcome, champ. Welcome to the thing, champ. Yeah, man. But we wanted to have you in here to talk about the championship coming up and just kind of let us know how it's setting up down there. You've been down there all week. We've seen some biggins being caught by a lot of people. They're posting them up on social media. So what's it looking like? How's the lakes and the choices of lakes setting up down there?
It's looking good. It's crowded everywhere. Everywhere you go, it's crowded. There's some big fish being caught, and I know there's some people regretting those big fish being caught right now. You try not to set the hook on them, but it happens. The weather's good. The weather's perfect, for the south here. It's everything's good right now.
Yeah.
Without giving away too much, how is it setting up differently from the last national championship down there in the spring? Can you tell a big difference? I mean, pattern-wise, bite-wise?
The fish, when the sun's out, the fish are going to hold to the shade. They're going to get up close to the cypress tree, just like they did in the spring.
Yeah.
The moving baits are working a little bit better. It seems to be, they're chasing a little more. It's that time of year. It's that fall transition here. It's just starting. We got a little front coming in this Thursday night, which may change things up Friday for the final 100, but they're chasing pretty good. But, these fish are pretty predictable.
What is the fall transition like in that kind of flat, swampier area where there's not big ledges and river channels and stuff? Like, what is the fall transition down there? How does that kind of play into it as far as bait movement? Okay.
I mean, they'll just start feeding on there. They'll feed basically, you'll start seeing the schools, they'll just start following the bait. They'll follow the shad all over the lake. Wherever that shad goes, they won't,
so it's more so on the bait grouping up instead of moving from deep water to backs and creeks and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, is that all temperature related or?
Yeah, for the most part, it's a water temperature, as the water temperature drops. So in the summertime, we were hitting, somewhere around 90, lower 90s water temp. And it's been 80, 79 degrees, something like that here recently, the last few days out there. So, yeah.
Are you going to repeat? Do you think you're going to win this one?
And I don't know. It'd be pretty cool to do it, but I'll be fortunate to make the third day, to make the top 100. It's there's some really good anglers here, and there's some people that are on the verge of pulling this one off.
It seems like
good,
these tournaments, man.
Last time down there, yeah, I think this is where you're going with that, Jeff. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I know what you're about to say.
Well, no, it's always somebody from that you don't expect or from out of town. You know what I mean? You think, some, Southeast Texas guy or Louisiana guy's got the home field advantage. going to take care of business, and then Mike Elsey comes in and wins the national from Indiana wins the national championship.
I mean, Drew Gregory, if I'm not mistaken, Drew Gregory kicked some ass down there. Greg Blanchard came in and did really well down there as well. Like it didn't seem. I mean, and like we've talked about, the quality of big fish present in those lakes is astounding. So, to really mop the floor with somebody, it's not like you found a pocket of 25-inch fish, but I mean, 22 and 23-inch fish are pretty common. I mean, that's not a freak fish down there. That's just a healthy fish.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to take. I mean, my prediction's probably like 285 for a 3-day total, something like that. It's going to take.
I can't do that much math, but
I think it's going to be mid-90s all 3 days to win this thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I think probably a 95.5-inch average or so will probably take it.
The problem is it's just everybody goes to Caddo. Caddo's getting all the traffic, and whether these areas will hold 3 days. It's
Are the smaller lakes fishing better this time of year?
Yeah. I mean, all the water around here is low. All the lakes are low. I mean, Caddo shows normal pull, but it's lower than it normally is. It's no lower than it was when we were here in 19. It's low.
I remember in the spring though, Caddo really showed out. Like you looked, down the top 25, I'd say probably 19 of them were fishing Caddo. Obviously it was the bigger lake and held a much larger quantity of big fish. I just wonder if some of these smaller lakes are going to come into play being in that fall pattern where they really do have 3-day potential to hold out. Absolutely.
I'm not going to blow anybody's spot out, but there is some other lakes that are going to produce. I could definitely see the champion coming from another lake.
Okay, that was going to be my question: do these other lakes stand a chance, or is it going to be a Caddo fest? So they do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Does the Red River stand a chance?
I don't think so.
At what? Does it stand a
It's
chance?
on the list.
It's
on the
Running
list.
dry? Like what?
It's on the list. Yeah, man.
The lake is low. If you can get in those backwaters, those oxbows, there's a lot of fish. You might get lucky and find a big one there. The majority of them are pretty small, average size. I have Jamie Broad and Adam Patrone and Mel Ash and Matt Scotch and Cody Milton all telling me to tell you to let everybody know to go to the Red River and fish for the event.
Okay. See, this is your chance to say that.
The hot spot.
Yeah,
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody that Red River's the juice.
Where the Red River is.
What bait are they eating on the Red River?
Those
Carolina rig buzzbait.
Whopper ploppers. Dead stick and a whopper plopper. Just letting it sit there.
Get it down low, boy.
Yeah, that's funny. I'll be curious, man. I know that every year it's always a show on, well, it was Tourney X, now Fishing Chaos, to watch the leaderboard. And, last year, I think it was last year that Jackson made the run, Ryan?
Yeah.
We had fun with that. Yeah, Guntersville. And I'm sure this year it's going to be fun watching all of our friends down there make runs up and down the leaderboard. So it's going to be a good time.
I mean, Dwayne just called out a pretty stacked house there. What's the over/under on somebody in that house finishing in the top 3? You gotta think one of those guys is going to cash a pretty big check. That's a pretty good bit of talent sitting around you right there.
Yeah, I see it. I see it happening.
Hey, is Matt sitting back there with you, Scotch?
I think him and Cody walked outside. I don't know what they're doing.
I wanted you to ask Matt if he planned on losing his phone or not. Yeah, when he comes back in, ask him if he plans on losing his phone or not, because he has a habit to drop that damn thing.
Hell no! Don't get him shook up before the tournament starts.
Ask him how many paddles he lost.
Oh shit!
Yeah, poor kid.
I lost another one, probably my third in the Tennessee State Championship this weekend. I just had it clipped in the hobby thing. It took off down the road and lost half of it again. I'll learn one day.
One day.
Steve Fields, I know you're watching. I need half a Hobie paddle, pal. Thanks.
Hey, those Walmart paddles make good deals in a pinch, Ryan. I've been on the same road and had to run in there and buy one. One of us up in La Crosse.
I'm gonna get some of those Ozark Trail assault hand
Yes,
paddles, I think.
that's what I got, man. You can fight somebody with those. They're legit.
Cut a man.
Yeah. Hey, Dwayne, let me ask you this, man. We saw earlier in the week. I meant to bring this up before we went live, Ryan. The new rule that's going in down there, the video release rule.
Oh, yeah.
I say rule, the whatever you want to call it, the fail safe. I guess you don't have to submit them. How's that being received down there, Dwayne? What do you think about that?
I haven't heard any negative feedback other than, I'm going to forget,
Yeah.
That's what everybody, I'm saying it too. I'm going to forget to do that. It's just not habit. We got to get in the habit of doing it, but I think it's a good thing, to cut down on some of the controversy and some of the questionable stuff. It's a good thing. And I think that's where these tournaments are going. They're going to be, almost live feed like that.
That'll be hard to remember in the heat of the moment in such a big tournament. Like, I think if you started it at the beginning of the season in the trail, when it's 30 or 40 person, 50 person events, you're a lot more likely to remember something then. When you know that every fish counts for, $40,000, like, you're a lot more likely to throw that fish back and cast out immediately.
There's a lot
I think that'll be hard.
There's a lot of guys that've been practicing, when they're pre-fishing, they've been going ahead and taking their videos and all that, but I'm still forgetting, man.
Can GoPro video be used? Like, if you're wearing like a head mount GoPro or over the shoulder GoPro or anything? Have y'all talked about that?
I really don't know. I'd have to add that. I don't know. I know that there's certain criteria to it. You gotta film the fish on the board, film the release, then you got to go back to the board and show the board isn't altered or anything. I guess if it's a clean spot, as long as you can prove that it's a good catch and release.
Out of all the cheaters we've seen, out of everything we've seen, I want both of you guys to answer this. Do you feel like this video release thing is actually taking care of the bigger problems in catch photo release fishing? As far as like fish baskets or people delivering you fish or whatever, having a stringer somewhere. What do you think the biggest issues are? And do you think that the video thing is necessarily taking care of like something at top, or is it just checking off, a potential way to cheat?
Ooh.
I don't think it's, I guess it helps eliminate some of it, but the cheater's going to cheat. They're going to find ways to cheat. And I don't know how you could eliminate it all the way in this format. Somebody's going to find a way to do it.
They still do it in bass boat tournaments. Like, you can't, and they've been at this for 50, 60 years. Like, it still happens every day. Go ahead, Russell.
I think it's always going to have the potential to happen, but until we get something, a major company to come in and say, here's a camera that's going to last for 8 hours. You got to turn that camera on when you launch. It goes over your shoulder, and if there's any questions, they can watch your whole tournament. That is going to be the fail safe long run. These short videos doesn't stop somebody coming over. It's going to, an all day long video is going to be stop the controversy of me saying, hey, Lunch Money, you were talking to X, Y, and Z about this on the water, and you're not allowed to talk to competitors.
Yeah.
Your camera's going to tell you that. I saw person B hand off a fish to person A. That camera's going to say that. Now, you got to sit there and watch 8 hours of footage or try to figure it out where it's at. But that is the only thing that a GoPro, a Tacticam, or whatever is going to have to be recorded for 8 hours. And then you run the risk of bad fouls and everything else. So if something, that's supplied that goes bad, why am I going to be penalized for it? So there's no right answer for that. It's just looking at people and hopefully we all have the right mind and right heart set to do what we're doing, not for $1,000 to go cheat at a tournament.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you what I'd like to see happen if they're going to do stuff like this is if you're going to add this rule, pull back something else. Like let's get rid of the arbitrary pinky on the tail, meat of the tail rule or something if you're going to video them anyway.
Yeah.
To, you know what I mean? Let's make one thing easier if you're going to make something else a little bit more difficult. Because if you're going to video them anyway, obviously you're going to have
Well, it kind of
evidence it's not the
negates
same
it
fish.
to that point.
Yeah.
It kind of negates a rule like that. You know, you don't
Yeah,
necessarily need that part. I think, and I suggested this a few years back, especially in the like multi-day setup tournaments, like 3-day, for instance, when you get down to like the top 100 or whatever, you got 200 other people that can't really do anything. Take the bottom 10 or bottom 15 and make them marshals and put them on somebody and be like, hey, listen, you stay 100 yards back from this guy all day and you watch them. You know, you watch them catch, you watch them score their fish, you make sure nobody's bringing fish over to them. You've already got the people there, you know, throw them $100 or whatever it is. But I think that adds more legitimacy than anything, is having a live human person watching you not go out of bounds, not communicate with somebody, not share fish. Like, that would eliminate a lot of the issues that I feel like, not necessarily that go on all the time, but that are big potential, you know, cheating opportunities in our sport right now.
The only thing with that one, Ryan, and I really like it, but say I hop in my Jackson with the Torpedo on the back, you're in your Hobie, and my fishing spot is 5 miles from where we launch. Do I got to wait on you as a marshal to get to me to start fishing?
No. You got to pull them. No. You got to pull them with you.
There's just little things like that we're not on all on the same page as what a fishing vessel is. And therefore, can somebody paddle in a kayak still keep up with a guy in a Hobie? Or, you know, I'm going to go fish.
We're going to have to get them. We're going to have to get them a real kayak, unfortunately. So we're going to have to get them. We got to get them something that moves. We can use some of those sponsor dollars to pull in a Torpedo or two.
Taylor Howell said she'll babysit us, man. So she volunteered to marshal everybody for what I read there. So thanks, Taylor.
Taylor's been talking all this. I ain't seen Taylor at a tournament yet. All right.
Ooh,
I've run
Taylor.
into Big Stick a couple times. I haven't seen Taylor yet. So either come to the TOC or stay out of the DMs. All right. I'm going to put that out there.
Stay out of the DMs. That's awesome.
I'm kidding. Stay in the DMs. Love you, girl.
Let's get back to the tournament itself, man. I'll be interested to see, number one, if that rule affects anybody and somebody forgets, and that'll be a wild. I mean, for our page, it'll be fantastic. There'll be some great conversations happen if that happened and somebody gets DQ'd over a missed video or something. But
there's also that aspect of like not legal launches too. You're not going to video that, and that's already kind of an issue here that we're hearing. You know. Through the grapevine that there's, you know, people launching at places they shouldn't be and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's always those rumors. You always, especially, I don't want to target anybody specifically, but like you get these guys that fish skinny water, that look for skinny water on purpose, and they're, you know, maybe dragging across somebody's field to a creek or portaging over a barrier. But I mean, without video evidence, how do you prove that? Like, how do you prove that actually happened? I mean, you can't. And I think, like you said, I mean, eventually when this sport gets big enough to support itself, really, I think you'll see those live feed, you know, $10,000 cameras having to be a part of it when guys are out fishing for 50 or 60 grand in every single tournament. Like, that's a small investment to legitimize your entire organization, in my opinion.
Hey, I got an idea, Ryan. We talked about pre-approved launches before, right? Like a list of launches. Far Wide is the sponsor of all these trails, it seems like. They could integrate the pre-approved launches right into their little app and put them all on the Far Wide map, and then everybody would be on the same page. Let's get on that, people.
I think I wouldn't hate, now that motors are such a big player, and I know they're not in Hobie yet, and I'm not trying to hint toward anything because I don't know shit. But if motors are accepted in all these trails, why not have a list of pre-approved launches? You have the ability to run to wherever you want to go. If you want to put in the work to get there, that's up to you. But I like the pre-approved launch, and I'm not saying like 4 launches. I don't want people to be crowded. But let's say you pick like 15. I mean, just throwing that number out there, 15 launches on a body of water, and you're like, here you go, guys. You got to pick from this list. If you have a vehicle at any of these launches and you're caught, you're DQ'd immediately. I mean, I think that's fair. I don't know.
Yeah. I know that gets away. It's the line of it's a kayak and you can get into some places that other people can't get and all that. So yeah, I know you're blurring lines there, but
You can still get there.
yeah.
It'll just take you longer. Like Russell outrunning me in his Jackson with a motor
That's right.
when I'm his Marshall. But now Jackson has a 2-seater, so you can put it on that, and I'll just ride with you.
Yeah. Let's get back to the tournament itself coming up. I want to get y'all's picks for the tournament, number one. But first, we've got a TOC champ right here. We got a state champ here, and then we've got a national champ here on the screen. So, Dwayne, you lead off. What kind of mindset is it going to take to pull this off, to win any championship? But, 300-something people, 3 days, trying to make, the top 100 for day 3. Everybody's crowded on these lakes. What kind of mindset are you going to have to pull this off?
Consistency. You just got to stay consistent for 3 days, man. You got to grind it out. These fish are going to go through waves, and you got to keep your head down and keep grinding. But you got to be consistent. You got to be smart. You don't want to hammer them all on day 1 and don't leave anything, for day 2 and 3. You got to fish smart, fish clean. There's some opportunities, people are going to be upset. I broke a big one off and didn't mean to pre-fishing. I accidentally hooked a really big one and it broke me off quick. And I was in panic mode a little bit, thinking, man, what if it was tournament day? My knot broke on my hook, so you got to fish clean.
But to that point, those big ones, when they're feeding aggressive, I've done this on Gunnersville. I had like a 7-pounder come up, hit a 10-inch, 10-inch old monster, broke me off. I threw right back in, and she ate again another 10-inch old monster, and I caught her with my other one hanging out her mouth. Like, don't give up on a fish. Like, I know it hurts. Like, you feel defeated, and you're like, damn, I just messed up. There went $5,000. Like, just swam off.
Right.
You can't. You got to retie and get back in as fast as you can, because those fish are feeding aggressively. I mean, you still got a shot at that for sure.
I mean, the topwater bite's been fairly good for me, but I always keep a Cinco on deck, because you miss that front. We can throw back in there and get them usually, they're in that search mode once they get fired up on the topwater,
Yep.
Yeah, and I think we could do a whole show on fish management. I mean, that's a whole other thing, especially over 3 days. But yeah, Russell, what do you think, bud?
I think it's going to be the person that didn't find the A spot, the B spot. It's going to be the one that depends on that third choice. I mean, everything down there, I'm sitting here in Pennsylvania looking at what's going on down there, and I see everybody catching fish, and everybody looks like they're fishing that fishy spot. For me, it's going to be the guy that is going to back away from the new guys or the big names down there, and they're going to pull it out. It's going to be somebody random, but it's going to be somebody that's not on the community hole or anything like that just comes across that's just fishing. Because 3 days is a lot of fish to manage, and there's not one hole that if somebody sees Dwayne launch here in first and second day, they're going to be there on the third day. But that person that isn't known, they can just cruise by and catch 5 fish a day and pull off with it.
Yeah.
And I think, for my answer to this, there's kind of 2 methods of fishing. There's the guy that goes around and power fishes and covers water, just trying to make as many casts as he can and bump 5 in the head. And then there's the guy that looks for the spot, one thing that will keep regenerating throughout the day, and they'll sit on there and fish slow and finesse and not as aggressive. You're not educating as many fish and try to bust out 5 a day. I think in the 3-day tournaments, and the TOC's 3 days this year as well going into it, for me personally, I usually like to sit on a spot and fish slow. I don't think I can find an area that will win the TOC by sitting on it for 3 days. I really don't. I don't think the spot I had last year in the TOC could put out for 3 days. So that's going to change I don't like to move. I don't like to move at all during tournaments as far as ramp hopping. I feel like that wastes a whole lot of time, and that's just my own mindset. But I'm definitely going to have 2 different launches with hopefully, 3 different areas around them that I can kind of move around. If one of them's hot, I'll sit on it. But I think you have to give yourself, 3 or 4 different options, places to pull out and get bit, because you can't be stubborn in these big tournaments. It'll cost you money, period.
I think a big thing is when somebody gets, and they say 95. I mean, Dwayne said, 95 inches a day. When you get close to that, you got to make that conscious call to, if you're sitting on all 18s and you catch 5 more 18s, you wasted those fish for day 2. Like, you can't lose it, or you can't win it on the first day. You can lose it. You go out and burn your spot. I mean, that management is key. Do you take 5 fish and go look for other stuff? That's the question. It's always burned in my mind. And big tournaments, 2-day tournaments, 3-day tournaments, I don't see myself doing good in it because I'm one of those guys that I'm trying to gain every quarter inch I can. And I don't do good in those longer tournaments. I know that. Like, there's no Russell has 95 inches, stop cast and go look for something else.
You ain't laying off?
Nope. I'm chucking and winding, and it's normally a spinnerbait. So
let's see. We got a question from the crowd here. What about 90% of fish and 10% of the lake? Does that turn out to be true down there, Dwayne? Do they hold in certain areas on a certain set of trees, a little magic set of trees down there, or are they just spread out everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely patterns like that. I mean, there's not. I wouldn't say it's. There's certain types of trees that are going to hold more fish, and you can kind of run that pattern. There's certain types of grass lines that are going to hold fish that you can run that pattern. You're looking for clean water. There's not much to be found, but when you find clean water, it's going to make a difference, in my opinion, anyways.
I think I remember that from when we had Greg on from years ago when he was down there. We had him on after that event, Mike Elsey, and he had gotten in behind some grass in the spring or something and found a big clean patch of throwing that Senko around, skipping it around back there in the spring. Yep. So I guess it plays the same in the fall down there.
So I'll tell you my thought process on this. We were talking about fish management and whatnot. I had a younger guy fishing with me that's new in our club in the state championship, and we shared some water together, and he stroked us on Gunnersville. I think he put up it was like 66 inches or something, 68 inches on 3 fish. I mean, just smashed us. He's fished bass boat stuff, but he's new to the kayak side. And I'm talking to him about what I'm trying to do on day 2 as far as culling up and covering water and that kind of thing. I think when you get to that mark, everybody kind of has in their head where they need to get on each fishery. I think when you get to that, let's say 94, 95-inch mark on your A spot, that's when you leave. You get out and you work around it and you look for that kicker fish, that outlier. You're not burning up your A spot because you're going to come back there for another day. So you just start covering water. You start looking for the things that look the same as your A spot and kind of expanding your territory and look for that one bigger bite. I think that is probably where a lot of people go wrong. Instead of sitting there and burning through 6 or 7 18-inch fish, you get out and you push and hopefully bump into that one larger fish on, kind of the outside of the area.
Got another question coming in. Dwayne, you're down there and you're from that area. What about the weather? Somebody said, do you think if it rains a lot, it's going to mess up the water? And I know there's some weather coming through this week up here. I'm assuming it's going to come through Louisiana as well.
I don't think the rain, in my opinion, I don't think the rain will mess it up. The temperature change is going to mess it up. It's going to, I'll say mess it up. It affected the fish today. We had a little front come through, and I could tell the fish were a little bit different today. And talking to other people, the same thing, that everything was a little tougher today. And, if you're fortunate enough to make the top 100 come Friday, there's a pretty good front coming in Thursday night overnight. So Friday could be completely different wind direction. It could change everything up.
Yeah, so this tournament is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's you had to literally take the week off to get down there. It's kind of like the bass setup. So it'll be fun for people at work. Nobody will be productive. They'll be watching leaderboards in the office.
I hope it's a slow pass. Last year was awesome, watching that play out. I hope this year's the same.
Yeah.
I think it will be.
We're getting up against the hour. I told Dwayne we wouldn't. I know he's down there pre-fishing. We don't want to keep him too long. But let's go. Let's go around the horn and get our picks. Let's get 2 or 3 picks each with a sleeper pick in there.
Hey Jeff.
Yeah.
Real quick, I got Matt here. You want to ask him something?
Hey Matt, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do you plan on losing your phone in Caddo? That's what I wanted Dwayne to ask you.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I've got
man. You got a tether. You're good to go.
I think so.
All right, man. I didn't try to put bad mojo on you. I just know there's a history there, so I'm pulling for you.
Yeah. No, I think we learned our lesson this time.
Okay, good deal.
All right.
So yeah, our picks.
I'm gonna say, don't tell him because he's probably still close. I feel like Matt Scotch is gonna bust one this time. I don't know why. I don't know how. I feel like old Scotchy Scotch has got something in his pocket on this one. Another one I'm gonna pick because I watched him last time I was down there is Ugly Twin Mark Pendergraft. And for my sleeper, I'm gonna go with online sensation Lance McWhorter.
Let's go.
AJ's cousin.
Okay.
Take that, suckers.
Russ, what you got, man?
Man, I'm like the underdog guy. I think Tim Isaacs out of West Virginia is a name. Just simply because he's always there, and I haven't seen him crack one, and I know he's due. And I think I think just the style of fishing fits him down there pretty well. So Tim Isaacs is my first pick. I'd like to see the kid bust one. Oh man, I can't think of his name right now. I'm sitting here and see his face on Facebook. This is gonna bug me right now.
Talking about Jackson? Who you talking about?
All right. Yeah, I always call him Mr. Jackson because he says he is the most polite young man you'll ever meet. And then as a sleeper, I don't know, man. I just want to see somebody no name, just anybody. There's a lot of guys out there. I can't say it's centrally located because it's 20 some hours for me, but I think somebody up north is going to come down and fish something that they're not used to and find something that works for them.
All right. Dwayne, besides yourself, who are you looking at?
Somebody in this house.
Yeah, you got a house loaded. You got a house loaded.
My over and under is with the house for sure.
Okay.
I think somebody in the house is going to pull it off. Yeah. I think the sleeper is going to be, like you said, it's going to be somebody off the radar that nobody looks at, nobody suspected to put up a bag, and he's going to come out of nowhere and hammer this thing.
All right. Well, I'll give you my picks. I'm going with the Tennessee guy that's been in the top 5 every time I turn on the leaderboard, Jimmy McClurkin. He's been on our show before. He's a teammate of mine.
Jimmy's good.
Jimmy catches them. I mean, he just catches them everywhere. Number 2, going with my man from Arkansas, G Money. He's all in on this one, trying to make it happen down there. Garrett Morgan.
Make a living, baby.
Yeah, making a living down there at Caddo. He's due. He told me that he's due on Caddo, so I'm going with G Money said he's due. I'm going with him. And then my sleeper, Judy Richardson from Maine. Nobody knows that name, but somebody from the Northeast always catches them in the grass. They're good in the grass. And I'm telling you guys, she can catch them. So watch Judy Richardson.
I like it.
Yeah.
Guys, I appreciate y'all both coming on tonight. Russell, congratulations on your big win. Dwayne, thank you for being the gracious champion that you are, coming on and giving us the NC Insider preview. Jeff, always.
Thanks for
Good times. Good luck, Dwayne, and to your house. Thanks, Russell. Appreciate y'all. We are out of here. We'll see y'all next week.
See you, boys.